Hello you guys, so today you'll be making pirozhki with me. Pirozhki are really popular. They were a big thing in the Soviet Union, so technically I would say they're closer to Russian cuisine, but because of the Soviet legacy and their popularity, they are very famous in Turkmenistan too. It was one of my favorite dishes to eat during the break in school, in grade school and middle school, and I would always run to cafeteria to grab some. So I hope you'll be able to make this with me and I hope you'll enjoy them. And these are the ingredients we're gonna need. I will put detailed information in the description. You will need warm milk, you'll need a little bit of sugar, some oil, you'll need a pinch of salt, you'll need yeast. That's why it's really important for your milk to be very warm. And then we're gonna need some flour. And now we're gonna combine our ingredients. I'm using a KitchenAid, but you're free to use anything you want, anything you pretty much use to make dough. I really like the KitchenAid just because it's more convenient, but you can also use your hands if you don't have one. So we're gonna get our milk, which should still be very warm, and then we're gonna add the yeast, we're gonna add our sugar, and we're gonna add the salt. Now we're gonna grab a whisk, which I am going to do right now, and then we're gonna start whisking them all together until they become homogeneous. And then I'm gonna add the oil, and then on top of that we're gonna add our flour. And now we're gonna start mixing our dough. Make sure to start on the lowest setting possible, and then you can work your way up as you go. And now that our dough is ready, we're gonna put some oil on our working station. It's really important to put oil just so the dough doesn't stick to your fingers. And the dough will be really elastic, you'll love touching it. The dough will also be very firm. And then we're gonna grease a bowl and let it sit. We're gonna let it rest for about an hour, maybe 70 minutes, and make sure to tuck it in and make it really warm. About an hour later, I am opening my dough up. It should have risen by now. And look at that beautiful dough. And say hi to Pancakes. She's always there to help me cook. And then we're gonna take the dough out and we're gonna work on it for another 2 minutes. Just fold it, let it get, it's gonna get a little bit smaller again, but that's all right. So after this round, we're gonna work on it and then we're gonna put it back in the bowl for another half an hour. And while we're letting it rest for another half an hour, I'm gonna start working on the filling. I'm gonna make mashed potatoes and I'm frying some onions on the side. I'm also planning on making mushrooms, so my fillings will be potatoes, onions, and mushrooms. You can fill it with whatever you want. You can choose meat, you can choose cheese, you can even do fish, anything your soul desires. And then we're gonna check on our dough, and it rose again, and it's just really fluffy and very pretty. So we're gonna start working with it now. But first I'm mashing my potatoes, adding some salt and pepper. My mushrooms are also fried. So then I'm gonna put my dough in a little snaky form. So it's going to be like a little long snake, and we're gonna divide it into equal parts. I divided it in a little longer, but I ended up with 12 rounds of dough, or like with 12 round circular dough pieces. And we're gonna let them rest for another 10 minutes under the film, just because the yeast in the dough needs to be well rested. So after that, make sure to grease your surfaces again because you're gonna need it not to be sticky. And we're gonna start working our way to making a little circle. I don't think you necessarily need anything to make a circle with. Your fingers will work just perfectly fine. So as you can see, we'll just make a little circle, and then we're gonna grab a little bit of filling. We're gonna put it right in the middle, and I would recommend eyeballing it. Don't try to put too much because then it's just gonna burst open while you're frying it. Don't put too little because then you're not gonna have enough filling. So once you do that, we're gonna start folding the sides, as you can see on this video. And then once you've folded all the sides, you're gonna tuck that side back in and just roll around, and there you go. That's your first pirozhok. Just make sure to grease it very well. So we're gonna put it aside and let it rest as well while we're working on other ones. And here is just another angle, just so you see how to make a pirozhok and how to make it come to its shape. I think another good filling for this would be cabbage and some carrots, if you like it. Probably salmon would be good, but it's totally up to you. So we're just gonna add the filling. And then we're gonna fold it again. And then we're gonna let our oil heat up to 320 degrees Fahrenheit. And while the oil is heating up, we're gonna let our pirozhki rest for another 5-ish minutes. And then you're just gonna fry them from both sides until they are golden brown. And you'll only need to flip them once. And that's the color you should be aiming for. They turn out a little crunchy on the outside, very soft and nice on the inside, and are a perfect snack or even a dish if you add some salad to the side. And this is what our final product is gonna look like. And I added some more. They turn out really great. Just like that. I fry 2 at a time. If your pan allows for more, just go ahead and do that. And this is what it's gonna look like on the inside. It's super crunchy on the outside. The filling is really nice on the inside. I think cheese would have been just amazing with this, which I forgot to add cheese. I would recommend adding it 100%. And these are just final pirozhkis. And if you don't like deep fried food, we decided to experiment and air fried pirozhkis. They do turn out pretty good, but it's still not the same as fried pirozhkis, so I would recommend frying them. And this is just what they look like. They turned out really amazing, and I would recommend you trying cooking them. Please let me know in the comments if you ended up cooking them. I'm really interested to hear your stories.